Welcome back to our course on general theory of relativity. Let's continue with our video lecture. Today we are going to talk about metric tensor, which plays an important role in general theory of relativity. We have already seen that the distance between the two events in special theory of relativity is an invariant. The distance is in fact is given by the metric tensor in the Minkowski space or special theory of relativity. It is constant, but the entire dynamics of the space-time can be fully described with the metric tensor. That is why it plays a very important role. So let's continue with our lecture. So today's topic going to be metric tensor. This is a part of our course PH4205 at IISER Calc. So let's quickly recollect what we have covered about tangent vector space in tutorial. This is the summary of tutorial 01. We have our space which we might not be able to map to Rn entirely. We know that under such case, we take a point P and construct a neighborhood around that point and then map that to Rn, and that forms our coordinate patch. So we can refer all the point with respect to coordinate xa. So this is a bijective mapping or one-to-one mapping. So you can move back and forth between Rn and the open neighborhood around your reference point. We could have another mapping from the same region. We could map to Rn with a different mapping, which also should be one-to-one or bijective mapping, and that would be second coordinate patch or coordinate patch 2. You could have a coordinate system x prime a. We can have the reference point here too, and we could have a bijective mapping between these two coordinate maps. So this essentially we refer to as a coordinate transformation, which allows us to map the two coordinate patches. The mapping is given explicit relation between the two coordinate system or Rn, and that in fact can be mapped onto our space M at the point P. Next thing which we have used is the definition of a tangent space. That is, we have our reference point and the coordinate patches and the coordinate transformation. We consider set of all curves passing through the point P and then map them onto our coordinate system, and then we can actually have this differentiation done, and we can compute the tangent vector at the point P. We know that the set of all tangent to the curves passing through the point P, VA is equal to dxa by d lambda, forms a vector space, and we call it a tangent space. So this has been our main reference point on which we will be doing our entire physics on this vector space. Let's go ahead and look at what is a metric space. In order to do any meaningful physics, we need to have a dot product on our tangent space, which is usually given as a dot product in our coordinate patch, which is Rn. We have already given a special name to the tangent vector, which we call it a contravariant vector. We can have a scalar product, which is a mapping from a vector space to real space R. That is what we say. We have two vectors, contravariant vector VA and UA, and the dot product is given as a V dot U or U dot V is equal to a GAB times VA UB. Here the coefficient which is used to define the dot product between the two vectors is what we call a metric tensor. Here the dot product is used with the notation borrowed from the quantum mechanics. It doesn't matter, any vector space you can use them, and that coefficients of the dot product between the two contravariant vector, which is given by GAB lower indices, is what we call is a metric function. In general, the metric tensor is a function of coordinate. Because I should not be calling it a tensor yet, we could say that in general GAB is a function of coordinate. Within the standard framework, it is easy to see that the metric which we have defined is a symmetric That means if we interchange the indices A and B and A, it does not change. It is essentially comes from the nature of the dot product that we have often have a dot product is a symmetric, that is a v dot u or u dot v, which is same. So that makes it the metric tensor is also symmetric in its indices. One of the example for the metric tensor, especially for the Minkowski spacetime, is given by GAB. It has a special name, stands for the Minkowski space alone, which we often denoted by eta AB, which is a diagonal matrix with the diagonal element 1, -1, -1, -1. So we know that it is used for taking the dot product between the vector, and unless like Euclidean distance, this has negative values. That means the space-time vector could have a positive, 0 or negative, and that is what we use in terms of the physical understanding. Written in terms of a metric form, you have a diagonal element which is given by 1, -1, -1, -1, and the rest of them are 0. Now let's continue. Let show that the space-time metric GAB transforms like a covariant vector of rank 2. It's a rather straightforward way of doing it, but however it need to be done. So this is a part of your homework, problem 1, homework sheet 01 for this week. You should be writing the solution on a paper and scan it and upload to VLearn, and the deadline is 6 p.m. or 1800 IST, 30th January 2021. That is the next Saturday. And you have 1 week, and the problems are simple enough, and you should be able to finish in time and upload it. Now let's try to see it. How do we show that it is a contravariant vector? So let's first remind ourselves what is a contravariant and covariant vector. The contravariant vector or the tangent vector, which we have defined earlier, their component transform like v prime a equal to dx prime a by dp into v of p. So this is a basic way of all the tangent vector or the tangent to a curve which transform. Now we also have a definition of a covariant vector, which are essentially normal vector to the hypersurfaces, which transforms slightly different than the contravariant vector, where the component of covariant vector transform is given by v prime a, lower index is given by dxp by d prime, it should be a. The component of covariant vector transform like v prime a equal to dxp into dx prime a into vp. So this is how a normal to a surface transform under the coordinate system. So let's start with our definition. We could start in two ways. We could start with the norm of a vector, or also we could also start with the dot product of two vectors u and v. In the case of scalar product, v square is given by GAB VA VB is equal to, this is in our one coordinate system. In the another coordinate system, it would be G prime AB V prime A into V prime B. Now since it is a dot product or a scalar, it would remain invariant or same in all the coordinate patches. So we could assign these two to be equal in the both coordinate system. The same way we can do it for the dot product between the two vectors. Dot product is given by GAB into VA UB, and that is also equal to G prime AB V prime A U prime P. We know how V prime transform to VA explicitly given, and we can substitute that. We have this GAB is equal to VA VB equal to G prime A B V prime A V prime B. Now we explicitly use the transformation law, that is we know how these two transform, so but we don't know how GAB transforms. So we keep the GAB prime as it is and write the transformation of V prime A in terms of V P and VQ. So the expansion is given by G prime AB is equal to dou X prime A by dou P into VP into dx prime B by dxq into VQ. Now we should remind that there is a repeated indices, and that means that these are summed over this. Essentially, we are doing a matrix multiplication, a vector into the transformation matrix given by this partial derivative. Now once we do that, we can also do it for the dot product. Let us rearrange and collect the term. Essentially write these two terms together here, and then these two components come together. Write G prime AB in between as in the same form. Look at this again. You see that the indices are all A, B, P, Q are dummy indices. We can call them whatever name we want. They don't mind me calling them by names. So let us rename them and rearrange the term, and you see that we get the same expression takes the form that dx prime P by dxa, d prime Q by dxb, G prime PQ, VA, VB. It's just rearranged so that you can easily identify the terms with the original coordinate system. That is we started with the GAB, VA, VB, and now that has been written with this component. We can simply collect the term, and these remaining terms should be equal to this. That essentially indicate that the terms which has corresponding to GAB is equal to dx prime P by dxa into dx prime Q by dxb into G prime PQ. That should be equal to GAB, and that essentially gives us the transformation law given here. GAB now given as a dx prime P divided by dxa into dx prime Q divided by dxb into G prime PQ. Now if you look at that, this is a transformation for the covariant vector, or in this case there are two entities, so that makes it it is a covariant tensor of rank 2, and that is exactly we wanted to show. So from this we have shown that the quantity GAB behaves like a tensor of rank 2 of covariant type. Let's relook at this definition of covariant and contravariant vector. Elsewhere in the parallel universe, we look at our mapping system. We have an open interval which mapped into two separate coordinate patches, x and x prime coordinate system. Instead of tangent vector, now we construct a norm to a hypersurface passing through P, and that is now mapped into all our coordinate patches, and then we can have the transformation between the coordinate patches. Now we collect all the hypersurfaces and their norms, collect them, bundle them together, and we know that that also forms a vector space, and that vector space is what we call covariant vector space or a dual vector space. So those who have studied the vector spaces very carefully, you know that every vector space should have a dual vector space which together they transform to a real line. With that respect, it can be easily shown that the vector space formed by the tangent vector and the vector space formed by the set of all the normal vectors are dual to each other. In other words, we are independently forming another vector space, and it could be related to our original vector space using a dual transformation. However, in this new coordinate system also, we should be able to define a dot product, and we should be able to define a metric which we can define. Again, the scalar product is defined in the mapping, which takes the two of the normal vector into the real line, and the dot product again is given as VA dot UA, and the VA or UA dot VA is equal to GAB, now upper, into VA UB. Now you see that U and V are the covariant vector. Now again, from the definition of this itself, you will see that this is a symmetric, because again dot product of the vector has to be symmetric with respect to two vector component, and that means this metric tensor hence defined is also symmetric with respect to their indices. Again, coming back to Minkowski space, the metric in Minkowski space has a special name, that GAB upper is also called the eta AB, that is the special name for the Minkowski metric, and that has a form diagonal matrix of 1 minus 1 minus 1 and minus 1, or completely written as 1 minus 1 minus 1 minus 1. We can show that the metric hence defined, the GAB upper, is a transform like a contravariant tensor of rank 2. Now this is a problem 2 of a homework 01. For this we should write this on a paper and submit a scanned copy to the VLearn. Deadline is 6 p.m. or 18 hours IST, 30th January 2021. You can again remind yourself of what is contravariant vector and what is covariant vector. Now your job is to show that they are the metric hence defined at the upper indices from the contravariant vector, and it is straightforward following the method given earlier. There is no much algebra either, so you should be quickly able to do this problem. Now we have a two metric tensor defined, one coming from the tangent space, that is contravariant vector, and another coming from the normals of the surface, and that is a covariant vector field. Now should these two metric tensor be related, that is the metric tensor GAB, should we have any relation with the metric tensor GAB upper indices? Of course, if you ask any mathematician, he would say, of course, they need not be related. Now, physicists often take a different point of view. If you ask a physicist, he would say, really? Of course, it should be related, and there should be relation between them. It is sensible to have some relation between them. Otherwise, you will be always having to keep track of a metric at lower indices with the metric at the upper indices, and then it will all lead to confusion. Of course, it is possible if you can do it as a mathematician do it. However, most of the time there is a natural relation between these two. You can assume them to be inverse of each other. That is GAP into GPB is equal to delta AB. That means if you write them as a matrices, then the metric tensor corresponding to the lower indices should be inverse of the metric corresponding to upper indices. That is covariant metric components should be inverse of contravariant vector component. You can have a both way relation. Now once you have this relation, it helps us in a good number of ways. One of the important relation, that is what we have, is a dot product or the non corresponding to the vector and dual vector space. If they are same, then there exists a natural one-to-one correspondence between the vector and its dual. The same thing happens once we have a relation between the metric tensors corresponding to covariant and contravariant component. Then we have a one-to-one relation between the contravariant vector and the covariant vector, and that relation comes through the metric tensor. So we have a contravariant component of vector VA is given as a dot product between the contravariant GAB and the covariant vector VB. Same way, you can have a covariant vector VA is related to the dot product of a metric tensor covariant form taken with the contravariant component of vector U. It should be U. So this is easy to show. Again, you have a homework problem number 3 in the homework sheet. What you have to show is that you have to take a covariant vector and multiply this product and then show that it is actually a contravariant vector. In the same way, you take a contravariant vector, take a dot product with the metric, and then what you get, you have to show is a covariant vector field. Again, you have three problems which need to be finished and submitted by 6 p.m. on 30th January 2021. Hence, defined relation establishes the connection between the covariant and contravariant vector. So this is explicitly written the statement of the problem. A covariant vector field VA shows that the quantity VA is equal to GAB dot VB transform as a contravariant vector, and for a contravariant vector UA, the quantity UA is equal to GAB dot UA transform as a covariant vector field. It may stop here. This is an important definition, and you need to do this exercise too. Metric plays a fundamental role in the geometry. We will get to that one by one. In the next lecture, we are going to cover some physics with the special theory of relativity, but that required some of the ideas of dot product and the metric tensor. So that is why I quickly covered the metric tensor in this video. So let me stop here and continue with the remaining topic in the next lecture.